Um, I used to work with magazines and advertising, and I met Thomas Eriksson, who's the architect, through that. And we've been working with, he's been working with architecture and interior, and I've been working on advertising and design. And we had an idea of forming a company which would combine both architecture and design. And we met a design strategist called Göran Lagerström, which for us that made the perfect combination of having a strategy and design to work with projects that really could make a difference. And we were lucky to have our first project when we formed the company was the SDL Scandinavian Airlines, and that really had everything that could really build the Stockholm Design Lab and what it is today, because it had strategy, it had design, it had all kinds of applications where design really made a difference. Of course, there is a big responsibility you have. If you have an iconic bottle like Absolut Vodka, you really have to be careful and working with changing it too much. That particular project was ongoing for two and a half years, working with the future bottle of Absolut Vodka, meaning that it could be something that is really experimental and different. But in the end, we settled for something very small change of the iconic bottle. And I think you would see, since they hadn't done anything from the 80s, I showed you the example of a Porsche, how it evolves from every year. And I think that's in most cases of like a brand like Absolut, and the bottle, it should have changed more often. So now it's difficult for them to take a big step. And IKEA is, we've been working with them for so long, so we've been at their offices and working very closely with the project leaders, so we know them very much, and we don't do design that is not IKEA approved. We know the company so much that we're able to do nice things because of that.
Almost a personal relationship.
Yeah, in a way it is a personal, but it's also, as I said, it's a responsibility. They have their brand so strong, and the founder and the owner, Ingvar Kamprad, he's telling everyone it's not for the rich, but for the smart, and I think you can see that in the design. We have a slightly problem with the wording minimalistic. If you look at art, of minimalistic art, you could see things that are very reduced into its barest form. But for us, reduction is about trying to find, to simplify and trying to find the most, functional way to express something, or trying to find something that is strong and meaning that when you simplify and you really take away things, you're adding. In most cases, you're adding, because if you look around you, it's such a cluttered world. And if you look in the supermarket, in the store, you would see most brands working with a cluttered environment and cluttered packaging. And of course, if you're able to do something different, and if you want to stand out, you sometimes need to make it very simple. But I think we always, in all cases, we want to learn so much about the product or the industry that we know more than the client, and that makes it much easier to say, what if we do this, and what if we take away, and what if we try to do something that would make a change in this segment. And I mean, not everyone is up for that, of course, because sometimes it's a big challenge for them, and you know, they have to be quite, I don't know. So it's daring. I mean, yeah.
So, but it seems that you always find a way to pursue it.
Not always. No, not always. We have projects where we come to a solution which is not possible to, you know, for political reasons, is not possible. And I mean, sometimes we just shake hands and end the project. And that's fine. Difficult question, and we talked a lot about it together with Daniel Birman, who was the curator. Once he settled the theme making worlds, which is a beautiful theme, and it's really something about, you know, making the big worlds or making the small worlds inside your head. We started discussing different ideas. One idea that I came up with was that we knew we would print about 20,000 copies of the catalog, and I wanted each catalog to be unique. So we had an idea of collaborating with Google Maps, to have the whole world on one image and then dissect it into 20,000 pieces. So you would receive a book with a piece of the world, and that probably would have been possible with the technique of printing digitally. But in the end, it felt too much of an artistic project made out of an artist almost, and we said we should probably be more true to graphic design and branding, and that's why we ended up in I think the first idea we had with the flags. I think it's really, really difficult to brand art and to I mean, especially if it's group exhibitions or a project like this, where you have you have 90 artists from all around the world. Who will you put on the cover? Why are you putting this? So you need to find ideas that is not, you know, offensive, or that's not kind of highlighting a specific country, which I think we solved with the flag idea. But you see a lot of examples where you as a graphic designer is doing, I think, better design than the art itself. And an example of that could be Paris in some cases. They do beautiful applications for artists, and sometimes I think they're better than the artist. And that's a problem, or is it good? I'm not sure.
Yeah, the problem is not a single answer.
No, to me it's once again you have a responsibility as a designer to interpret the artist. How would you, in the best way, make this poster or catalog be more have a relationship to the art? And that's difficult. I think I have a site called art.sy, Artsy, which is about art and updates on art. I think is good. There's also another one called Show Studio, which is old, kind of from the beginning, really inspiring website from photographer Nick Knight from England. I've been looking into design sometimes, and otherwise I like a lot of Japanese blogs and Japanese people updating, like a guy called a site called Jimmy's Yayu, which is I think very inspiring in many ways. Otherwise, I think I still look at books.